What's going on, crazy people? Welcome back to another episode of Come On Knows. I'm your favorite host, bringing you all the news, and your job is to let me know if it's factual or capital. Today we have the Pizza Be Done, the PBD podcast. I keep messing up that name. I don't know. PBD is strange to me. It don't roll off my tongue naturally. Anyways, we have Patrick and his crew commenting on Ben Shapiro's demand of Trump on pardoning Derek Chauvin. If you guys remember, Derek Chauvin is the police officer who infamously killed George Floyd with his knee on his neck. And we're here today to break down if this is factual or capital, that this is an attack towards Trump. He's trying to sabotage Trump's time in office, knowing that this would bring controversy. Or is he just, flipping sides and he thinks that Derek Chauvin should actually be pardoned? Which one is it? You guys let me know. Let's get into it.
Ben Shapiro, the same day that Tate is going through all this stuff, guess what Ben Shapiro comes out and says? Ben Shapiro comes out and says he's asking Trump, Rob, if you got this clip, to pardon. I'll let him say it. Go for it, Rob.
If we are issuing pardons, however, there is one person that President Trump should pardon from federal charges forthwith. It would be incredibly controversial, but I think that it's absolutely necessary. That person is Derek Chauvin. President Trump should, in fact, pardon Derek Chauvin. He should. He should pardon him his federal charges. If we are talking about reversing the evils of the last several years in American life, obviously COVID and its handling was a massive evil. Destroyed the economy, set us on a path to fiscal insanity, destroyed children, led to massive health-related cover-ups. Just horrifying all the way around. And President Trump has taken on a lot of those things. But when it came to BLM, the inciting event for the BLM riots that caused $2 billion in property damage in the United States and set America's race relations on their worst footing in my lifetime, was in fact the railroading of Derek Chauvin in the death of George Floyd. The evidence demonstrates that Derek Chauvin did not in fact commit murder of George Floyd. George Floyd was high on fentanyl. He had a significant pre-existing heart condition. George Floyd was saying he could not breathe.
So this happens simultaneously. Elon Musk, Rob, responds, I believe, because and
I'm not sure if that person who was talking is a real person or if that's AI. If that's AI, that's crazy work. But yeah, I do firmly believe that Derek did kill George Floyd. There's no way around it. The argument of he had fentanyl in the system. Who are you to dictate whether he was going to die that day overdose, or did your knee cause that death? There's no way to prove that your knee did not cause that death, but we know that your knee was very active during his death. See what I'm saying? Your knee to his neck. So I don't know, but that's my opinion on that.
Elon Musk, he says something to think about. He tweets this video out to 290 million followers on X and says this is something to think about. Newsweek says Chauvin serving a 22.5-year sentence for second-degree unintentional murder and a 21-year federal sentence for violating Floyd's civil rights, though Shapiro noted in a video that Trump's pardon power only applies to the federal charge, saying the Derek Chauvin conviction represents the defining achievement of the woke movement in American politics. Rob, your thoughts on this story?
I hate this so much, and I'm going to tell you exactly why I hate this. Number one, there is absolutely nothing beneficial that pardoning Chauvin would do for the Trump administration, for this country, for race relations, for anybody else. It is absolutely destructive. It makes no sense. And so for me, when I first saw this, generally conversations that happen come from the ground up. Usually there's some sort of murmuring under, and then it kind of like bubbles up, and then it becomes a national conversation. This seems to be a very top-down conversation that comes from somebody with an enormous amount of influence. This is nothing that anybody was talking about or thinking about. So it really makes me question, why is this conversation happening right now? It makes me question, why did Ben Shapiro want to start this conversation right now? Who does this benefit? Doesn't benefit Trump, doesn't benefit America, doesn't benefit race relations, it doesn't benefit anything. And the last point I'll make on it is this. there are very few people that can actually really speak to in depth what was going on in that trial, how how George Floyd actually died, et cetera, et cetera. There's probably 5 people that have, spent the bulk of their day on a podcast set every single day, like Ben Shapiro, like maybe 2 or 3 other people that can really talk to you in depth about this. So then they're positioning themselves to say, no, listen to me. I'm the one who really knows about this. So what? Trump's agenda is supposed to be derailed. Where we're at as a country right now is supposed to be derailed because these leftists and these Democrats are looking for a reason to have another race war. That is what they love. So why this conversation is happening right now, I have no idea.
You're not for it at all?
No, I am not.
Interesting. Vinny.
He makes a good point. Why now? Who does this benefit? Ben Shapiro coming out of nowhere after he was against Derek Chauvin and he was for him being locked up. Why all of a sudden the switcheroo? Why all of a sudden the flop? To now you're saying that he needs to be pardoned. Who are you working for real? Like, what's your real agenda? Like, who benefits off this? So that's a great point.
Yourself.
Well, it's weird. I sent Rob some of the clips, Rob, of Ben Shapiro back in the day talking about how great it was that they should definitely go after Derek Chauvin and how he deserves it and all this, and I'll have them put it up. But it doesn't make any sense if the evidence is there, which, listen, it's more than likely that he died of all the fentanyl and all the stuff in his body and all that stuff. Then you know what? Retrial, do something different. But for Ben Shapiro, who was at that State of the Union, whatever the hell it was, standing there, kind of applauding with kind of a whatever face, the only option that I would think of is that this guy, he must not like Donald Trump. Why the hell else would you, because you, listen, innocent or not, you free Derek Chauvin today. What does this weekend look like in the country? The country is going to be set on fire, and who's the president? Donald Trump. So for Ben to say something like that now, out of nowhere, after he said all this type of stuff, and Rob, if you just put it up, all he's saying is like government has one primary function to prevent the violation of rights of life and liberty. The police officer destroyed George Floyd's rights. That is no excuse for our government abandoning citizens' rights to life and liberty in favor of rioters and looters. Do your damn jobs. Why the flip-flop? And why right now? The only conclusion, my opinion, Vincent Oshana, is that he wants civil war and something crazy to happen under Trump. I don't know what his
motive. So? I don't know about that. That's a little. That's.
Well, why would you? Hold on.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. First of all, just so you know, I had no idea. You didn't show me this before the podcast. I don't know he tweeted this. I don't mind reading the other two. I returned to a 2-day Jewish holiday and 5 the country is on fire. We all agree George Floyd, which is why bad cop is on the arrest on anyone who defends looting and rioting and targeting business on cops. Okay. You're not stealing that TV to honor George Floyd. Okay, so that's other stuff.
Yeah.
So let me tell you why I don't think that's the case. And my likelihood of that being the case is less than 10%. Rob, can you pull up the picture of him and Matt Walsh being at what do you call it? They were
State of the Union.
They were at the State of the Union. Why are they at the State?
So my problem with Patrick is that he oftentimes try to play the neutral guy. He doesn't really want to choose a side. He tries to act like, he's for neutral or he's for, everybody's rights. But I could kind of sort of see past the smoke screen, and I think he has an agenda as well, too. I think there is a side that he aligns with very strongly and is not neutral at all, but he has to play this neutral role. But, I'm not going to call out nothing. I'm going to let y'all keep watching, but that's just my personal opinion on Patrick.
The Union. Why are they standing next to all those people?
They were guests of
Why
Donald
are they?
Trump.
They're guests
Of Donald Trump
No,
invites you?
they're guests of the speaker specifically.
Somebody, the speaker, invites you.
Yeah, but they're there. So
Yes.
they're at the. So
Yeah.
are they there? You think the average person knows they're there because of the speaker? You think they're there because Trump approved that these guys can be there? Yeah. You think Trump's going to be okay if the speaker, let's just say Speaker Johnson invites someone that really Trump can't stand, and Trump looks up and he sees them there. He's going to say, "Why'd you invite them?" You don't think he's that delicate, that intentional? If I'm running meetings and one of my guys brings a guy intentionally that I said, "What are you doing with that guy being in here?" I would catch that. No, he's there because Trump approved him. So Trump's ability to play politics. Remember, who said it? Van Jones said, "Let's face it, Trump is the greatest politician of our lifetime." He said this after they lost. If you remember, November 6th is when he said that. So whatever the date was when he said that. So I think Trump is playing the game very well with everybody, and they're there because Trump wanted them to be there. I don't think that's the case. I don't think it's you can debate the fact that it's not a good idea and it's a terrible timing. Mm-hmm. You can say the fact that the Paul brothers have a documentary coming out, have a show coming out, right? It's called Paul Americans or American
Drifting
Pauls
to the
or
left.
something like
Stay
that.
on
American
topic.
Pauls, something like that.
Okay.
A show's coming out. The trailer is sick, right? The way they really, it's such a great trailer that you want to watch it. And in one of the clips, Logan says, it's not about being liked. It's all about getting attention. That's what he says. Guess what? He gets a lot of attention. Shapiro is getting attention.
Yeah.
Okay, so whether you agree with it or not, but to say that.
Attention for what? What is the attention for? What does he need attention for right now? He's already a major influence. What would be his objective? Okay, the Paul brothers, they're trying to promote their movie. You know what I'm saying? They got to put a gangster trailer together. They got a movie to promote. That benefits them if you get captivated in the trailer. How does Ben benefit from coming out and saying or demanding to pardon Derek Chauvin, however you say his name? See what I'm saying? So I think Patrick is trying his hardest right now to not agree and say that this is a deliberate attack on the nation to start a race riot or controversy under Trump's administration. Why else? No one was begging for this. No one asked for this. See what I'm saying? But he comes out of nowhere and just says it. I don't know. Come on now, Patrick.
He's trying to hurt Trump and all that.
We're missing why Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh were there. There was Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh, the Daily Wire, were instrumental in bringing the no boys and girls sports. They were instrumental in mainstreaming that conversation in a way that I had never had before. And even Matt Walsh was instrumental, even locally in Tennessee, ending some of that stuff, right? So that's why the two of them were there, because, they were sitting right next to Riley Gaines, obviously an icon in that movement, right? So that's why they were there, I think. I don't think that it had anything to do with the fact that, Trump loves them or anything like that. I think it was very specific to that, and he brought that up in the State of the Union address.
I don't know it's about Trump loves them. I just think that Trump is playing politics, that he knows Shapiro and Netanyahu and that community and Daily Wire. And Trump's understanding what he's also doing. Trump is not somebody that doesn't make moves 100%. Accidentally.
Yeah, but here's my thing, though. That came out. When did that clip come out of Ben Shapiro?
Day before.
Was it the day before?
Of or day before?
I think I saw it the day of.
Could be.
I saw it the
I
day
don't know,
of.
but it's within 24 hours.
I think we all agree, Ben is really, really, really smart, okay? Let's put that over here.
He is smart.
Why? I'm just asking, what would that do? Because he's smart. If Trump says, I'm pardoning Derek Chauvin, what happens to the country? Honestly, it's going to be all out insanity. George Soros' freaking BLM is going to get triggered, Antifa and everything. So that's why my opinion, Vincent Oshana's on his own. I'm thinking there's something, this comes out of nowhere. Where did this come from? For Ben to say that makes me go, wait a minute. The only outcome is negativity in this country, right? And the president is Donald Trump.
Right.
I don't like it.
So I agree with the hypothesis. I don't necessarily agree with your conclusion. Like, oh, well, he wants to talk about Derek Chauvin, so he must hate Donald Trump and he wants a civil war. So I don't know how you got there, but I respect your
Pretty
opinion.
simple.
Yeah, but it's
The country was on fire because of the situation.
I get
and you don't think black people are going to be furious that we're walking around and burning down churches and beating the shit out of people?
Well,
Okay.
I understand.
We have a different opinion.
I understand where you got there.
Okay.
Relax. I know you're the angry patriot. I love you. Calm down. Let me get to this thing.
Hey, he's not playing with
Just
your
because
ass
he came
now.
up with this idea doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. Doesn't mean it's going to be implemented. Doesn't mean that anybody's going to hear this. But I think what Ben, who's one of the smarter guys out there, realizes is I think a lot of us don't really fully understand that we were tricked. Because I was one of those guys. I fell for the Russia thing. I fell for the George Floyd thing. And then looking back at it, it's like,
What do you mean you fell for the George Floyd thing? What was there to fall for? Continue.
maybe the media played us. Maybe the media kind of really motivated us to want to see this guy, Derek Chauvin, go to jail and go to hell. I mean, I remember whether it's George Brown mowing down Eric Garner, whether it was Michael Brown, Freddie Gray, Fernando Castillo, all these names, you would think, based on the media, that cops are just going around mowing down black people. left and right. Oh my! And like, as someone who has a heart, someone who has eyes, if you turn on the media and the only thing you see is it happened again today, they got another one. Black people are gonna get upset. Anybody that is empathetic is gonna get upset. Anyone's gonna get upset by seeing, oh my God, this is actually happening. But it turns out it's actually definitely not happening, because PBD had the guy, the Harvard professor Roland Fryer, was that his name, Pat? He came on, black guy, by the way, and I'll never forget the story that he told. He came up with this conclusion, and he came up with a report. I think he said he hired 8 data researchers, attorneys, to find out what was actually going on in the black communities with police. And the answer was nothing. So he goes, nah, can't be. Did another whole set of research. And it came to the conclusion that no, police are not just going around killing and shooting black people. So the people at Harvard, the people of the professional elite, what did they tell him, Pat? They're like, do not put this out there. Did they not say
you got in
that?
trouble for it, yeah.
They said, do not put this out there. This is going to go against our entire...
So I'm gonna go ahead and comment on that. I'm gonna say he has a point, and I do agree with something that he did say. He came out and he just said that the media plays a role basically in how we think, and he's under the impression that the media is trying to persuade us or to get us to think a certain way. So they show us explicit clips, they show us cops harassing blacks in order to get us to think a certain way. I 100% agree with that. But to go ahead and just say that police don't racially profile blacks, that there isn't a history between blacks, there hasn't been a history between blacks and police, is completely flawed. Can both things be true? Is the media trying to control us? Or do they control what we see? Yes. Could it be the fact that police do racially profile blacks? Yes, both things can be true. But the fact that he's trying to rule out the other to make his point, to say that that they're trying to control the masses with media, and none of that stuff is ever right, it's ever true. And Derek Chauvin, the incident with George Floyd, was another incident where they were trying to get us to think a certain way due to the Democrats and whatever political stuff and stunts is going on. That's not true. Because when you look at the history of police, and you look at police brutality, if you look at the origins of how police started, remember policing started with slavery. Go out there, you go catch a slave, bring them back. See what I'm saying? That's how policing started, due to that. So racism is kind of sort of rooted in policing. And then later on down the line, you have police brutalities in black neighborhoods at an all-time high. That's when we started the Black Panther Party. That's Huey P. Newton, Bobby Seale, see what I'm saying, Fred Hampton. This is where you get that party from, so we can defend ourselves against the pigs. What Bobby Seale said that I always say, if a pig gets to jiving with you, you whip your gun out on that pig and you blow him away. Now, why would Bobby Seale say something like that about policemen? Because there is a history between police brutality and police racially profiling blacks. So to come out and just say, nah, that's just the media. Nah, that's just the media. That has nothing to do with nothing. That's false. But to say, hey, the media benefits from police brutality, catching it on film, I would say that is 100% true. And here's my stance on this, and I'm gonna let the clip roll out. I think everything goes hand in hand with each other. I think this is all one big machine. The way politics works, the way Democrats and Republicans get their votes is from crisis. What Fauci said, or what someone said underneath Fauci. Someone said, don't ever let a good crisis go to waste. You need crises. You need major events to happen. You need something that gets the people emotional. So if you're a Democrat or Republican, you could bank on this situation. So I'll go as far to say, you don't want real police, what you call it? I can't think of the word. You really don't want police change for real. You don't want to change the dynamic, the relationship between police and blacks, Because if you change reform police, you don't want to reform police. The reason is because if you take away this controversy, if you take away this tense crisis that's on a thin line, what else can you bank on for when it's time for elections? How else you gonna get the votes? How you gonna get black people votes? There's not much black people vote for. If y'all notice, every election is always based on how black people gonna vote today. Whoever wins the black votes wins majority of the election. And the reason is because black people only care about how they're treated in this country. So if we start treating black people right and we give them the things that they ask for, black people, it'll be harder to get their votes. You see what I'm saying? Because then once you give them the basic stuff like survival, you know what I'm saying? Like survival, not harassing, just basic things, then black people gonna start asking for more things, more beneficial things. And come on now. You know what I'm saying? Because all the things black people ask for are just borderline things. These are below the line kind of requests. A black woman in office. A black president. You're voting based off of color of skin. What are they going to do for you? So I think there's a level of ignorance that politics try to keep black people at. So the more harm you keep doing towards black people, showing them that, hey, we can have police kill y'all and y'all not going to do nothing about it. And they're going to say, hey, but if you vote over here, we'll try to do some police changes, because he's going to vote for police. He's going to give police immunity. You see how this machine works? See what I'm saying? Because if you really wanted to help if the government really wanted to help black people, if people really cared about black people, and they wanted to accept that there is tension between white T America and BLK America, you will go ahead and give reparations. This is where the reparation conversation comes in handy. Okay, if I know I did something bad to somebody, I burnt down their house, I made them get fired, I messed up their reputation or whatever I done to them, I'm supposed to come to them and ask them, hey, how can I repair what I've done to you? Not say, hey, look, man, I know I did all these horrible things to you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let you come eat with us. Come eat at my house this weekend. Yeah. Come eat at my house. Don't worry about rebuilding your own house. Come to my house. You can stay with us, matter of fact. Yeah. And matter of fact, you can work for me too. How about you come work for me? Don't build your own. Just come work. Just forget that stuff ever happened. Just come over here. Instead of asking me, hey, I done some terrible things to you. What would you like? How can I repay you? I think the best way to repay you is to recompensate you or compensate you for the harm we've done. Not only did we enslave you, but we also burnt down your neighborhoods. Even when you were being progressive, we burnt down your towns. See what I'm saying? We flooded out your progressive neighborhoods. Now there's sunken oceans and lakes. See what I'm saying? And there's records of this happening. So instead of saying, let's repay you like how we repaid everybody else, we say, nah, y'all good. Just vote. Just vote. Just vote. So both things can be true. You understand? They thrive off this tension between BLK and white T America. So I'm saying, so what he's saying, he kissed my ass with what he's saying.
And he's like, no, I'm going to do it. And the findings were this. Maybe there was a little bit of like minor stuff, like, hey, what are you doing? You're jaywalking, that kind of stuff.
Where are you going with your
The point is this. He found that it's actually not true. So what I'm saying is maybe Ben Shapiro is realizing, listen, he might have fell for it too. And I know that it's only a small thing. Maybe this guy is just one minor blip on the radar.
Got it. Okay.
But maybe
So
he
that's what you were
actually
trying to say
believes that
this
he's
entire
sitting
time.
there in jail
Yeah.
fraudulently, and the media lied to us.
Okay. So were you going to say something? You look
No,
like
no,
okay,
I
yeah.
was just listening.
So what I would say with this part to me is this, Vinny. Do you think Shapiro is Team Trump or Team DeSantis?
DeSantis.
No question.
100%.
He's a
it's
DeSantis conservative. 100%.
He's a DeSantis conservative.
Okay, I get, but
Wait. What are you doing? You're saying no, he's not?
I'm just saying, if this were a year ago, I can understand this. At this point, DeSantis is literally irrelevant.
No,
Like what?
No,
he's
DeSantis
not.
is
And
not
he's the
irrelevant.
governor of Florida. He has
It's
no.
not irrelevant.
You think
No.
that Florida, that's false?
Based
Yeah.
on what he did with Tate,
No,
he's a little bit more relevant.
But the point, it's a very basic question.
Trump, you're saying that DeSantis
You
is
think-
even in
you
Trump's
think
league
Ben
at this point?
You think Ben Shapiro would have preferred a DeSantis president or Trump president?
Okay, he maybe would have preferred a DeSantis, sure.
Sure,
But at
because-
this point, like the conversation's over. Trump's the president.
Buddy, I didn't ask you for a 17-second monologue answer.
wasn't. It was a simple answer.
Which one do you think he would have preferred? A Trump or a DeSantis?
He probably would have preferred DeSantis a year ago.
So to what Vinny is saying, I understand that there's a percentage of people that may say he's doing this because, hey, disruption or whatever. Fine, let's give that a little bit of credence that is taking place. Let me give the opposing side to why I don't believe that's the way to go. Trump's the wrong guy to mess with right now. Wrong guy to mess with right now. It could be career ending. It could be losing 2 to 4 years of momentum. I don't know how Daily Wire's business is doing right now. I don't have any idea. Maybe they're killing it. Maybe they're not. Maybe, they used to not be that friendly with Fox, a little bit more friendly with Fox. Maybe they want Fox to buy Daily Wire right now. Maybe they kind of want to, hey, financially, our investors are kind of pissed off at us because they go, we got to get the returns, and you got Brett Cooper, and you got this, and you got that, and you got Candace, and you got all this stuff that's happening. Everybody, Candace going to valuetainment. That's the person behind closed doors on the lawsuits. It's Patrick. Yeah, okay. No, I'm friends with almost everybody from all sides. I'm friends with Cuomo. I'm friends with Candace. I'm friends with a lot of people on many different fronts. Sports, business, politics. I get along with a lot of people. Entertainment. I have a lot of conversations with people I agree and disagree with. But to me, they may have some other things behind closed doors that they're trying to kind of figure out of things to get to do. Let me tell you how investors work. The moment EBITDA numbers drop, loans, Tom, you and I have been through this game many, many times. And you know what happens eventually when you keep going back to investors saying, we need another 200 million, we need another 100 million, we need another 50 million. Eventually they're like, maybe it's time to sell is what we got to do. Maybe it's time to this. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden we heard news that, either Daily Wire's raising another round from somebody that's coming in equity partner, whatever, or a Fox interest reports coming out that maybe Daily Wire is trying to get themselves to get a little bit closer because they would be open to the idea of Fox buying them, and what is the valuation, all this other stuff. I don't know. But all I know is right now, Trump carries so much weight that, guess what? It's not about him needing you as much as you needing him today. Trump doesn't need anybody today. He's choosing to build relationships today. Not because he needs them desperately, because he's choosing to. He is probably the most diplomatic I've ever seen him be. Ever. I don't know if I've ever seen him be more diplomatic. I know this sounds kind of weird because you don't think about diplomacy when you think about Trump. It's the most diplomatic. He said, President Zelensky sent a letter wanting to do this, and I have to say this. I appreciate the president's letter. I appreciate the president's letter. Thank you for sending the letter. What? He's not. He's going there. So again, you're right that thought could be in there, but I think not now because they have nothing they can do to hurt this guy.
They can't.
It's a second term.
Yeah. So this is what I think. There's two different types of Republicans, conservatives right now, right? And so we're definitely like MAGA, and I get that. But there is a group of conservatives, Republicans that is more in line. And so when we talk about the DeSantis versus Trump thing, it's not necessarily about DeSantis versus Trump because that's a tired conversation. I don't think anybody's having that conversation. But it's about the type of people that are really drawn to Trump and the type of people that are really drawn to DeSantis. And there are some people, some Republicans in D.C. right now that do not like these things that Trump are doing. Okay, these are establishment conservatives and Republicans that have been around for a very long time. They do not like any of this. They don't like dismantling USAID. They do not like dismantling the Department of Education. They see this stuff as crazy. And so there's a lot of people right now that are positioning themselves kind of like to the left of MAGA. And I think that's kind of like what's going on.
28. That's it. You're right. 28. 28. But guess what? Wrong time. I agree. It's a wrong time. Yeah, I agree. So the wrong time, bad time. Yeah, bad timing. I think Q1 2027 is good timing. Q1 2025, bad timing. Way too more. So, a couple things. For those of you that are watching the podcast now, if you go download Manect, the app, and you...
So, Would you guys say what they're saying is factual?